Today we are talking to Justin, the General Patton, on our Fighter Spotlight series. Justin is a 5-3 amateur, and he is fighting Cam Allgaier for the 247 Fighting Championships Bantamweight title. That's going to be at Brawl in the Burgh 4 on November 25th. Justin here, he trains out of the academy out in Pittsburgh. He's currently riding a 3-fight win streak. Justin, thanks for joining us this morning. How you feeling today?
I feel good, man. I appreciate you having me for real.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for your time. Wanted to jump right in. I know I talked to Ryan, the matchmaker for 247, and he was telling me that, you had, a couple series of unfortunate events leading up to a couple different fights. And we were talking offline before that. Now, you said you feel healthy now, right? You're feeling good going into this fight. But,
Yeah, I feel amazing.
But what was going on leading up to these things? He said you might have gotten a toe ripped off.
Yeah, so when was that? That was like September or something, a little before September maybe of last year. I was boxing I wasn't even wrestling, wasn't kicking, we were boxing, and I stepped in real hard, and my training partner, Shaka Worthy, stepped in real hard, and my toe went underneath or over top of his went underneath, and my bone actually poked out the bottom of my foot. And it was like all hanging off and stuff. I had to sleep. They actually made me sleep that night with my toe disconnected. Didn't give me any pain, pills, nothing. I had to sleep like that, and they fixed it in the morning. It was terrible.
So that was in September. Today is November 12th. So, only a couple months later, but you're feeling good. You're feeling healthy now?
No, that was last year.
Actually. Oh, last September. I was going to say that was a quick turnaround for losing a toe.
Yeah, no.
And you're training out at the academy, and you're training with some high level guys that are out there. So who are your training partners? What are you working on for this camp? How are you feeling? With about 2 weeks to go.
I train with like Cammy Worthy, John DeJesus, Jake Schilling, Shaka Worthy's my main training partner. A lot of high level guys. Mm-hmm. A lot of guys come in from other gyms too to give us work. If you ask anyone in Pittsburgh where it gets cracking at, they know it gets cracking at the academy, bro. Like, we don't fuck around. Like, it's no. But I go down to the Mat Factory to get some grappling in. I go down to Stouts sometimes, get some sparring in with those guys. So Pittsburgh MMA is like, we're different gyms, but we all work together for one goal, you know what I'm saying? So it's pretty cool. Everyone shows love and stuff. But I'm feeling good. I'm feeling real good, bro.
And that the Pittsburgh fight scene is an interesting one because there's not a whole lot of promotions that are putting on regular shows, even before the pandemic, that are out in Pittsburgh. But there's so many different fight gyms that are out there, and like you said, people are constantly training together. So does that make it hard for you as a fighter who's constantly training with different people at different gyms to take fights in that local Pittsburgh region?
Yeah, a little bit, for real. Because it's like promoters will try to match you up with people, and you're like, I kind of train with that dude. He's like my boy, but he's not. He's at a different gym. Like, if it's local, I'm not going to fight someone from a different gym. But if it's to get to the next level, it is what it is. Like, we can be cool afterwards. We can go smoke and chill. It is, you know what I'm saying? It's cool. But for local scene, it's not worth it, mess up my training, But for the big scene, dude, I'll fight whoever. Shit. Yeah, I seen Masvidal say he fight his mom, but I won't do that because my mom whooped my ass.
Mine would too. Yeah, I wouldn't fight my mom either.
I swear, dude. I'll be that.
And you're fighting Cam, who's a pretty well-rounded fighter as well. Now, have you ever gotten any rounds in with him? Have you ever trained with him or anything like that?
I think we grappled like once or twice a couple years back. He's a real good grappler. He's solid grappler. He goes in there and kind of does what he wants to do. But I got 3 sub finishes. I got 1 TKO, 1 decision. I'm trying to finish it wherever. You know what I'm saying? A win's a win's a win. It don't matter how I get it done, and we're getting it done. Like, so I'm just trying to get in there and get time.
I was looking at your record and watching some of your fights, and you are, I would say you're constantly looking for finishes wherever it's at, right? Like you said, you have those 3 subs, you have that TKO. Yeah. And Cam, I think it's no surprise to anyone, he's going to come out and he's going to try to dictate the fight with his grappling. So have
Yeah.
you been working a lot of kind of defensive wrestling, subs off your back, fighting off the cage? Is that something
Nah,
that's
I'm
been
not.
game plan?
My fault. I've been going to the Math Factory a lot, wrestling with those guys. Wrestling with my D1 wrestling coach, Dave Sachs. Um, I'm not really looking for subs on my back. I'm not trying to be on my back. If he gets me on my back, I'm getting the fuck up and we're standing up and we're banging. Like it ain't. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to sub him out. If I sub him out, it's cool. That's fine. It is what it is. But I'm trying to get in there and fight. Like, and we're gonna get violent.
And that was my next question is, everybody kind of looks at fighting differently. And that's why I like talking to different fighters is, some people carry more of the mentality like myself of this is a sport, right? And I'm going to go out and I'm going to try to do the best that I can in this sport. And then talking to you, you seem to have a little bit of a different mindset of, I'm going in there, I'm going to fight, I'm going to be violent, I'm going to rip this guy's head off.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so for you, do you have any difficulty or any issue kind of separating that violence from also knowing that it is a sport and you have to do certain things to win the fight?
Yeah. My first few fights, I was just trying to get in there and get reckless.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand fighting as much. Like, you got to pace yourself, and it's about making the right decisions at the right time and stuff like that. I had to put that together. I actually took 7 boxing fights just to get my striking better, to make it like the timing and to get my striking good. So, yeah, that was something I had to deal with. But everyone in our gym, like, everyone's like, it's a sport, it's a sport. Yeah, it's a sport to some people, but it's our lives. Like, I'm trying to get in there and fuck go. Like, you carry that with you all the time.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I always try to explain to people when they ask me about fighting was that essentially you're going in there and you're going to fight someone to the death, and the only thing that's going to stop that from happening is the referee pulling you off of them, or the referee pulling them off of you, right? So when you think about it in that sense, it is more than a sport to a certain degree. But to be able to separate that and then also know, right, if you get a takedown and there's, a minute and a half left, maybe win the round instead of, put yourself in a bad position. That's all kind of things that you learn through the process as an amateur, right? And that's, I think, where people see the most growth is starting out with, like you said, you were reckless, and then being able to understand the timing, the pacing, all of those things, winning rounds, to make yourself a more well-rounded fighter.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, speaking of conditioning, I know people have, all kinds of different strength and conditioning protocols. They might be runners. They might, ride bike. They might do CrossFit. So what are you doing, outside of just your normal training in the gym to kind of, build that strength and conditioning up?
Well, I do, I run, I get on the stepper. I like to do sprints, bag work, all that stuff. I couldn't lift as much because I actually, so on top of my series of unfortunate events, I was supposed to fight in September or October of last year. My brother passed away, and then I herniated my L5-S1. So I couldn't lift at all because of my back. So I mostly try to run. I try to do like body weight exercises and stuff. I'll do some lifts, but not too much.
And I mean, it is to each their own, right? With different strength conditioning. Marcelo Garcia kind of famously said, the only conditioning that you need is grappling, right? You want to be a better grappler, you just got to grapple.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I feel that 100%.
And now talking about, this upcoming fight, most people have had a long layoff, is, the pandemic and whatnot. So has there been any issue with, your weight or, feeling like you're getting in shape with the rounds, or, anything along those lines, or has everything been pretty smooth through this camp?
I took maybe during the COVID thing, I took like 3 weeks off, maybe a month, if that. And I was still in the gym. I just wasn't training as much as I normally do, right? So there hasn't been too much. Like, I still feel good. I still feel on point. I'm ready to go. It feels good.
And you're just you're two weeks out from yesterday, I guess that would be. So what do these last 2 weeks last 2 weeks look like for your camp? When's going to be your last hard training session? When do you start your weight cut? What do you expect to see yourself on weight? How's that all gonna play out?
My weight's actually really good. Normally I'm normally like 5 off of water right now,
Hmm.
and I'm like damn near close to water. I I'll probably stop sparring the week before, and we're just dialing everything in. Like with my coaches, we'll just flow around and move some stuff, work some different situations, uh, just different places the fight could go. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's he gets a takedown, I gotta get the fuck up and do my thing, or stopping his takedown and pounding him into the ground. Just different situations because it's all muscle memory. You know what I'm saying? And not panicking in bad situations if you get into bad situations. You know.
Yeah, and you mentioned your coaches, and you're going to be going through, different scenarios, things like that. I always like to ask fighters, when you have your coaches in your corner, is there a specific coach who will coach you through your striking during the fight, as opposed to if it goes to the ground, then someone else will be coaching from the corner? Or do you
Oh
like to
yeah,
have
yeah,
one
yeah.
coach that yells everything for you?
No, I'll have Chris Williams and Dave Sachs in my corner, and Chris is my striking boxing coach, and then Dave's like my grappling overall MMA coach, and he's been like a real good addition for the team, for like my mental and my grappling as well, because he's been through it. He's like I forget what his pro record is, but he's been fighting forever. Like since it was like the barbarian days, you go
Mhm.
meet in a barn and you fight. So so he just helps me with like training smarter,
Mhm.
so I can not get injured when I'm cutting weight and different things, because everyone wants to like keep pushing and pushing and pushing your body. Your body can only take so much until you get injured. I experienced that like 4 or 5 times. So it's just better to be smarter and know you're in shape and know you're ready to go, you know?
Yeah, and speaking of the mental side of things, I think that's something that all younger or earlier fighters struggle with. Is you always just want to go 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 go, right? And you don't put a
Yeah.
whole lot of emphasis into recovery. So is your recovery something that you focused on more since you had that series of unfortunate events?
Oh, hell yeah. Karma was always going on about, dude, recover, get massages, get cryotherapy, get dry needling done, go to the chiropractor. And I'm like, dude, I'm young, I'm cool. I'm 26 now, and I can tell you I'm 26 going on 60. So you got to take care of your body for sure.
And it's funny, 26 is in any other sport, right? It's kind of like at the prime, but now in MMA, 26 is getting to be like you got to start getting into that pro ranks now, because there's kids that are 19 and 20 that are, they're already 4 or 5 fights deep.
Yeah, yeah. It's all about like your timing and who
Hmm.
you know and stuff like that. Because there's people that their first couple fights are in big organizations already. Not saying that they're not talented. They're really talented guys, and they have other accomplishments that get them there. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? But I think in MMA, it's any age. It doesn't matter. It's just when it's your time, it's your time. You know, there's people that are fighting that are 40.
Hmm.
There's people that are all the champs are what, like 31 now, 32. You know what I'm saying? So it all depends. I feel like the timeline for MMA is based on you, not based on everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, we just saw Glover Teixeira take an absolute beating and then come back and win that fight. I think he's like 42, 43, so he's still,
Exactly,
he's still
dude.
doing it in his 40s.
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna be doing this till my body doesn't anymore. I told my mom I have her in a beach house, but she just gotta push my wheelchair.
That's a good way to
That's the
it's a good
goal.
way
You
to
know
look
what I'm
at it. Yeah,
saying?
just keep going. And there's the one side, which is the physical aspect of fighting, right? And that's, we kind of hit on that, is that everybody kind of hits their peak at different times and whatnot. But then um, another side of it, which I think is a huge component that not a lot of people talk about, is the mental side. And for
Mm-hmm.
me, fighting, it was almost like I would get tunnel vision my first couple of fights, right? And I don't even remember my first few fights. Like I would just get tunnel vision walking out, and then everything would kind of go silent,
Oh
and I
yeah,
would just
for
be like in
sure.
there fighting. So I had to like mentally prepare myself for things like that, especially in the back before the fight, right? You know, some people are nervous, some people are relaxed. So what does your pre-fight ritual look like, and how do you feel mentally when you're in the back warming up and, you know, before they call your name?
Um, it all depends. When I fought Brian Hauser at where was that? It was a Pinnacle fight. It was like my third fight. I was nervous as hell. When I fought James Brown, I was nervous as hell. My last few fights, I felt bomb for real. I felt good mentally there. I felt like I was good. They're locked in there with me. I'm not in there with them. They're in there with me. I'm ready to go. You know? But it just took me a while to not get comfortable with that like pressure. You know what I'm saying? I wrestled until I was like 14, so it's kind of the same, but it's different when there's nothing else going on except just you and him. You know? So.
Yeah, and speaking of just you and him, you got this fight with Cam. It's coming up in 2 weeks. You got any kind of prediction or any way that you see the fight going for this title fight?
I feel like he's gonna come out and try to grapple me, and I'm gonna stuff a few of them. He might take me down maybe once, and I'm gonna punch him out, hopefully, or something. I'm looking for the finish, dude. I'm trying. One of my early coaches told me, "You get in, you get out, you get paid, you get laid." So I'm just trying to get it done any way I can. Yeah.
Awesome, Justin. Before I let you go, just want to kick it to you so you can give any shout outs to, you know, anybody that's been helping you along the way, from sponsors to coaches to training partners. Floor is yours.
I want to thank all my coaches for real. Dave Sachs, Chris Williams, Isaac Greeley. Anyone else for real who's been helping me. All my training partners, Karma, Shaka, John. John's fighting tonight on Bellator. He's about to beat up Aaron Pico, dude. I'm telling you, he's gonna show the world. Jake Schilling, all the dudes at the academy that gave me any work, all the dudes at the Mat Factory. I want to thank my sponsors, Ventec, HVAC, Bulldog Plumbing, Gary Hill Construction, Metal Menders, Regeneration Pittsburgh, Green Tree Cryotherapy, Peluso Barbershop. Sorry, I don't have this much sponsors normally. I've never. Whip Wash, Car Wash, and then the Shooting Bull is where the after party is going to be for my fight. It's right down the road in Monroeville. So come out, celebrate. It'll be fun. It'll be a good time. Awesome. And the academy, academy over everything. Swear.
Awesome, Justin. It was a pleasure speaking with you today. Good luck in 2 weeks when you fight for that strap, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon.
Hell yeah, dude. I appreciate you having me, man.
Yeah, man, for sure. We'll talk to you soon.
Hell yeah, peace.
All right, see you.